here come a man walking back in the mountain. I'm working on a fence that I'm place I own in Franklin County next to Boone's Mill. And here's a man walk 3 miles back in that mountain. His name was Morton Hodges. That's who he was, Morton Hodges. And he walked back in that mountain, and he said, I'm looking for J.C. Weaver. And I said, well, sir, you found him. He said, the reason I'm here, he said, I have a place I'd like for you to go look at in Whitfield, Virginia. And I said to my brother Maynard, I said, look, if he's walked back in this mountain 3 miles looking for me to go look at a place in Whitfield, we're going, let's go. And when I came here and I seen the layout, and then when I started looking at the roads and how they came back through here, and then I started looking at two interstates here, and then I said, this is the crossroads of America. And not only the crossroads of America, this is the place where we could put Branson, make them look bad. We could bring Nashville here. We could bring Pigeon Forge. We could bring all these right here. And why? Because there's 70,000 people a day passing this. And I think that's one of the keys to any success is work, hard work, go get it. If you ain't willing to work, it won't come to you. You got to go get it.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm here at Major Graham Mansion, and I'm joined by Mary Lin Brewer, who is the director of Major Graham Mansion, and also we're here with the owner, Mr. J.C. Weaver. Thank you both for having us out here today. Mary Lin, can you begin by telling us a little bit about the history of the mansion and some of the interesting facts about it?
Absolutely. The history of this mansion mirrors the birth of our country. That is, in the late 1700s, 1786, there was a family that lived here. The owner's name was Joseph Baker. The mansion was not here then. In fact, this was wilderness back then. He was part of the militia, and that's how he bought this parcel. He was paid with this land, and his family lived here. And so he was murdered on this property by his slaves, Bob and Sam. This was Montgomery County back then. And so we have all of those documents. And he wasn't just murdered, his head was sliced open with an axe. His body had been exhumed during the trial, and the jurors saw the body. So going back as far as 1786, we have a dead landowner, and then we have 2 slaves who are found guilty, and they are hung for their crimes. Their names are Bob and Sam. So we have 3 dead people.
So were they hung on this property, or
we do not know?
Okay.
That information is incomplete. We're not even sure where Joseph Baker is buried, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really? Okay.
We know that his widow leaves, and she goes to an island down at Foster Falls, right below us here, in the New River, and there's a Baker Island there, and that's where she moves to and raises her family. Okay. We are guessing that he is buried down there because there is a graveyard down there, but we haven't found the headstone to confirm it. And back then they didn't keep great records on births and deaths. So, but Bob and Sam have talked to our ghost hunters, and they have told our ghost hunters, many different ones, that they did not mean to kill Joseph Baker, that it was an accident. And so people have seen them roaming the property, but they typically roam in the slaves' quarters or down in the basement where the shackle room is. So right off the bat, we have this mystery, which we use in our books, The Legends of Graham Mansion. So then we fast forward to 1826. And Squire David Graham is 26 years old, and he buys 2,000 acres here. And one of the parcels that he buys is from the Baker descendants. So the legend has always been that this mansion was built around Joseph Baker's cabin. We don't know that. That's just a legend. However, a lot of the ghost hunters have said that that is true. So we have Squire David, and the Crockett's own the land, and they're making iron. You see, lead mines, Austinville, has had great natural resources here, lead. And so all metal was made out of lead back then. And so that was real important to me. And he had a furnace here, right here. That is the water right down here at Cedar Run Creek. That's what was the power. to create the heat to melt down the iron ore so that the pig iron would run out into the sand trenches.
Okay.
And so you'll see these gigantic pyramids. They're 4 stories high out of rock, and those are the furnaces. And so the heat would get very hot, and so that would separate it out. And he had one here, but over the course of 20 years, he owned about 12 of them. And he owned a tremendous amount of acreage. He started out with one, and it grew from there. Now, he's a very strategic businessman. He marries at the age of 35, rather old. And he marries a woman from Poplar Camp, Martha Bell Pierce. Her father is wealthy. He makes iron. He also owns part of lead mines. So, when he marries Martha, it's a pretty good strategic move for him. She probably thinks she's going to be a spinster because she's almost 30. So they marry. They lose their first 2 babies. We don't know if they were living here, but by 1835, between 1835 and 1838, they had built the rear part of the house. That is, this part, the big massive brick section, is an addition. It's not the original house. There are 2 houses put together here. So 1838, Major Graham is born. I have to say Major Graham because both of their names are David. So it helps separate the father from the son. He lives his entire life here, and he was born in 1838. He also serves in the Civil War. So they go on to have quite a few other children. Girls that she loses one. Anyway, he becomes, he has a massive estate. By the time he dies in 1870, he is an extremely wealthy.
All right, Mary Lynn, that's a lot of great information we have. Now, there's a little bit I want to know about the paranormal activity that's in here, because
Sure.
as you know, tonight we're going to be doing our investigation,
Yes.
and if you can bring us into maybe some of the hot spots, or maybe not give them away, but maybe point me in the right direction of where I need to go. Can we do that?
Yes, come on, let's go.
All right, let's do
All
it.
righty.
Okay, everybody, we are here in Clara's room right now, and Clara was the young girl who was between 7 and 9, is that right? Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about her and what does she get into?
Absolutely. Well, back in 2007, we had a music festival here, and my ticket booth lady was from North Carolina. I thought, well, I need to give her a tour, so I bring her in here and do this. I'm going to do this real quick tour, and she starts finishing my sentences. And when I bring her in this room, she just starts telling me all these things. She said, "There's children in here. They're learning. They're happy. Wait a minute. There's a little girl that dies in this room. She dies in that. Her body's in that closet. She's right here." And I gotta tell you, Chris, I look at her and I say, "Lynn, how do you know this?" And then she tells me that all of her life, she's been clairvoyant.
Wow. You mentioned something about etching in the glass?
Oh, that's in Martha's room. Do we want to go there?
Sure, let's
Okay,
head
let's
on
do
over
it,
there.
because that's a good haunted room.
Okay, great. Okay, we are in Martha's room, and Martha was the mother of Betty, correct?
Yes, Betty, Major Graham, there's Mary Bell, Emily.
All right, so she was the wife of Squire David Graham.
Correct.
Okay, and is this the window you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So when the clairvoyant Lynn came in here, and I gave her no information, she walks directly to this window, she touches it, and she tells me, the woman who etched this with her diamond ring was angry, she was sick, and she died in that room. And then she looked at me and she said, she was locked up in this room by her husband.
This one or the one behind us?
This one.
Oh.
And I said, really? Do you know who she is? And she said, no, her name starts with an M. This is her, M. Bell Pierce. And I said, will that be Martha? Martha Bell Pierce Graham, Squire Davis. Most ghost hunters do connect with Martha on some level. What's interesting is that she seems to be a prankster. She plays pranks on the ghost hunters. She'll giggle, she'll run, she'll hum, she'll touch them, she'll throw things at them. She does all kinds of fun things. It's weird, but this is a real happening room in here with Martha.
I'm looking forward to this. Big time. All right, well, let's go to the shop.
All right, let's go. This is the shackle room, very common in that time. That is, slaves were shackled when they were punished. These are the original holes. This is not the original chain, but the wall has these spread all throughout the shackle room. So you can just imagine slaves being shackled here.
All right, before we get on with our investigation, is there, you got stuff coming up, right? Halloween's coming up. You have different events.
Absolutely.
Now you do a haunted.
It's called the Haunted Graham Mansion. Right now we're getting makeup on, costumes on. We have about 120, 130 actors that convert, they change, they morph into another person and perform here. We have another 25 people that are on the operations side. So we have a staff of about 140 people each night. We're open every Friday and Saturday night from the last weekend in September and through Halloween. We're always open about 12 nights, just Friday and Saturday nights. We've had about 55,000 people come over the last 5 years. We're expecting about 14,000 this year, Chris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I'm sure everybody's kind of curious as to what goes into putting on such a production. Can we show a little quick teaser of the behind the scenes?
Oh, I think we can.
All right.
I think we can.
Through the magic of television, take a look at this real quick.
Welcome, welcome.
Graham Mansion. This is where we listen to rock and roll, we get some cool pictures, we have coffin confessions, and you can kill your friend and pose on the throne, and your friend can pretend to slit your throat. So we're very fond of skulls and bones and all the fun stuff that goes with the mansion. We sell books, Legends of Graham Mansion, we sell t-shirts, and we sell scares.
All right, so that behind the scenes stuff is absolutely incredible. I can't wait to come here myself and experience it because I never have yet, but I will this year. I encourage you guys to do the same because there is some cool stuff here. Mary Lynn, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Haunted Graham Mansion, that's how they can find us. That's the website, or just look us up on Facebook. Haunted Graham Mansion.
Just watch to the end of the show and we'll have it all listed for you right there. And it'll also be on the website for hamboneshow.com. We'll have everything there for you. I encourage you, check it out. Come here. You won't be disappointed, trust me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
it's been great.
Thank you.
You come to play with me? Sure.
Oh, yay!